When was the last time you looked at your plants and said, thank you?
Thank you.
Plants, like all living things, need water, air, light, and food to grow. Thus, a healthy and well-balanced soil is essential for good plant development. If the soil lacks these essential nutrients, we can add them to the soil with plant foods or fertilizers. When looking at plant food or fertilizer, we look at these three numbers. These numbers represent a ratio of the essential nutrients or minerals plants need: nitrogen, N, phosphorus, P, and potassium, which is K. Nitrogen promotes leaf growth and is responsible for greening of the plants, which is essential for photosynthesis to take place. Phosphorus assists with the manufacturing of chlorophyll and is critical for good root growth. And potassium is essential for vigorous growth and the manufacture of sugars and starches, and therefore improves flower and fruit production. So encouraging a green lawn would need a feed of a higher nitrogen ratio, whereas fruit-bearing trees a higher potassium ratio, and root veg a higher phosphorus ratio. Then, depending on the season, we also adjust how we feed. In autumn, we would feed our lawn with a food that has a higher phosphorus ratio to encourage good root development, before feeding with a higher nitrogen ratio again in the summer months for green leaf development. But plants also use several trace elements or micronutrients in smaller quantities like boron, cobalt, copper, iodine, iron. The list is quite extensive. And some of these can also be available in specialized plant foods, such as these liquid plant foods. Liquid plant foods are very easy to use and come in a concentrated form, so they will need to be diluted in water before use. They can be used as a foliar feed and to feed the soil directly, and they contain a balance of nutrients and micronutrients. Liquid plant foods are better at balancing soil pH and are fast-acting, which is ideal when treating plants that are in stress due to transplanting or drought. So it makes sense that if we look after the soil, the plant will thrive. By feeding your plants from day one, you help root development and reduce transplant stress. Make sure whenever you plant, your flower beds are well prepared with organic fertilizer, compost, and superphosphate or bone meal. An exception to this rule is when planting plants that are phosphate intolerant, like those in the Protea family. This gives plants the best start. Melansian's organic potting soil is an organic mix that gives the plants a solid foundation to grow in. Use Stark S Organic 315 fertilizer for fruiting and flowering plants and use every 4 to 6 weeks. In winter and in the colder climates, only feed seasonal flowers. Remember, what you put in is what you get out. And that's the 101 on feeding your plants. Be thankful and kind to your plants with the right nutrition. Visit your nearest Plantland or visit plantland.co.za for all the Stark S products I have used, and where you can also grab your latest copy of The Gardener or Detainee magazines, packed full of inspiration and practical gardening advice just for you. Like, subscribe, and follow for exciting Thanks Plants competitions, giveaways, and more great Thanks Plants gardening content. Get your copy of the September issue of The Gardener or Detainee magazine to find all the clues you'll need to enter the competition. We at Stark S, Plantland, The Gardener, and Detainee say thanks, plants.